Good day, everyone, and welcome to the second part of our discussion about the religion, philosophies, and beliefs in Asia. The last time that we had discussed the concepts of religion, philosophies, and beliefs, we had mentioned that this is it has a very large impact among the way of life among the various Asian countries. No. Also, the last time that we had encountered this topic, we had presented, or I had presented at least various religions and philosophies found in East Asia and as well as in South Asia. This time around, we'll try to explore some of the beliefs, philosophy, belief, and religion found in the area of Western Asia and at least some parts pa rin ng uh, East Asia. Okay? So, Buddhism, we had, and the last time we discussed that Buddhism had many schools, okay, or if not many branches. One of them is Mahayana, and the second one is Theravada. But next topic that we will discuss is about a Buddhism that is being practiced in Japan, known as the Zen Buddhism. It became popular in the 9th century CE, and Zen Buddhism is a school of Mahayana Buddhism had begun in China and was carried out in Japan. Like most of its schools just mentioned, its influence is so significant that it needs to be discussed from other parts of or other Buddhist practices as well. Okay, so in Zen Buddhism, it's very important for us to know the concept of Zen. Zen, in one context or in one discussion, this is the term of meditation that is to attain the freedom of the Buddha. In this meditation process, you are freeing yourself, freeing your mind from various concerns or worries, or if not, from various aspects of your life. Okay, and you are achieving enlightenment through freeing of the mind. There are two groups in the idea of Zen Buddhism, okay, in Japan. One of which is called the Rinzai sect. That means this people or this group focuses on that enlightenment may be achieved through the free experience or what is known as the Satori. And the second one is the Soto, focuses on the extensive meditation in order for the person to attain enlightenment. Now, among the two, first we will try to go first to the idea of what do I call this one? Sabihin natin itong uh, Rinzai school, no? So the Rinzai school, okay, the Rinzai school focuses on the ideal enlightenment, okay, the ideal sudden enlightenment of a particular person through experiences. Through experiences. Okay? And the other one, the Soto sect, focuses naman on the on the meditation in order to achieve enlightenment. Okay, so these are two distinct groups, no, in Japan that focuses on the Buddhist practices. Both of them are under the Buddhist practices. Okay, and the things that we need to understand here is that one should need a meditation to achieve enlightenment, and the other one uses these experiences, free or the Satori experiences, to achieve enlightenment. Okay, the Satori it brings an awareness of the unity of oneself with the rest of the universe. That's the idea of the Satori. Okay, the enlightened person knows that human distinctions and separations, okay, and such distinctions are not ultimate. Thus, when we talk about Satori, it is about ourselves being connected, okay, to get other people and to the rest of the universe. So, what are the teachings and the beliefs of Zen Buddhism? So, according to the Zen Buddhists, no, in Japan, people should live life instead of turning away from the world. That means, whatever happens, when life gives you various challenges, you should go ahead and live the life, okay, and face these realities, no, instead of turning away. Enlightenment is so important in the Buddhist practices because, for example, the Satori is also a moment of awakening of oneself, no? That means a person can realize the completeness of his life. He found meaning to his life. He realized that life has a meaning for itself. So nabubuhay ka na may dahilan. That's the idea of Satori. The Sazen is what you call the sitting meditation as as one consciousness expands, seems to stand still. So Zazen is a practice, no, as part of the enlightenment procedure in the Zen Buddhist practices. So while you're meditating, your consciousness, your wisdom, your ideas about the environment, the nature, and even the universe continuously expand. Okay? One thing's for sure, Zen Buddhism also promotes self-awareness. Hence, services should be done with humility to achieve one's purpose in this world. So very important that Zen Buddhism, okay, Zen Buddhism also practices uh, in attaining the awareness. They need to answer the question called koan. Koan. That's Koan. Okay. So for them to achieve enlightenment and awareness, they need to seek first their importance, their life within uh, the nature of their life and even the nature of the within their roles or functions in the universe. Zen Buddhism and the arts of Japan are very, very connected. Okay, so this is the Japanese style. This Buddhism has shaped the various arts in Japan. For example, the haiku, which is very popular for literary uh, writing. That's extremely short poem based on the Buddhist practices. The shanoyu or the tea uh, ceremony has also has an impact. No, I mean it has a Buddhist impact as well as the ceramics that being used, and also the ikebana or the flower arrangement. So all of these particular Japanese practices, they have a very, very large dealing or foundation with Zen Buddhist practices. Kumbaga, you cannot live or you cannot practice Shanoyu or Ikebana or if not uh, write a haiku without going to the process of Zen Buddhism. Okay, so that's about Zen Buddhist practices. Now, Shintoism is one of the most popular beliefs in Japan. It means it's the way of the gods from the term itself, Shinto. They do believe in the natural goodness among humans. According to the Shintoists, we are in nature are good. The same in the idea of earlier discussion by Mengzi that man is good, no? So yun. Um, Most of the Shintoists believe on the origin or the story of creation of Japan, in which they do believe that the gods or the kami supports and guides these Japanese people. So most of the Shintoists believes in Thanksgiving, okay, the blessings into life, admiring and love of nature. Okay, so the Tori is one of the examples that is associated with Shintoism is the Tori. That is a small, as rather a simple, tall wooden portal in which it is has a meaning, no, towards your spirituality and oneness with your goodness and even to the way of the gods. Okay, so remember the term kami refers to the gods, no? Yeah. Shinto emerged when Buddhism came from China to Japan. Okay? Before that time kasi, there was no need to name a native religion. Hence, if things for sure, Shintoism is one of the natural, or it's not one of the earlier practices or religious practices found in Japan. Yan. Shinto is more of nature religion. That means you are worshiping the spirits together with the departed family members, the ancestors of your clan, the great leaders, and so much more. Okay? So the Japanese people, as it is was pointed out, are they do believe in the origins that they had come from the creation myth. No, that's why they had this basis on the belief of the creation, of the Japanese creation, that is. So there are three virtues in Shintoism: the love of family and tradition, love of nature, and physical cleanliness. Okay? So somehow, if you will look at it, Shintoism, this idea of three virtues are also the same with the ideas of Confucian practices in China. Okay? And as we had mentioned earlier, that Shintoism, based on most of them heavily relies, no, on the belief of the creation myth. They do believe that these are sacred spirits, no. So the two of these particular gods are Izanami and Izanagi. Okay, so they are being considered as the cosmic parents who created the islands of Japan. So most of their stories are based now on the so-called Kojiki. In the part of there is a part there was mentioned that hereupon all the heavenly deities commanded the two deities his augustness, the male who invites, that's Izanagi, and her augustness, the female who invites, that's Izanami, ordering them to make and consolidate and give birth to this drifting land. So the drifting land refers to Japan. So Kojiki, or the records of the ancient matters, is one of the very important texts among the Shintoist practices. They also they are also reading the so-called six national histories, or the Rokukushi of Japan, and finally the so-called Nihonji, or the Shokun Nihonji, or the so-called Chronicles of Japan. So um, from the story, from the creation, came from the spirit of Amaterasu, Omikami. That means Amaterasu would means the shining in heaven, that represents the sun, and the spirit of the moon, which is Chikiyomi, or the moon night possessor. And the spirit of the wind would represent now Susanoo. So these particular gods or kamis in Japan are being revered and being respected, as well as they do believe that their origins or descendants or spirits, are in one with the nature, just like the kami, together with the kami. Okay, so that's about Shintoism. Okay, and Shintoism at one point became Japan's national identity. No, the other one is shamanism. Okay, it's from the word shaman, that is sha, no, that is to know. Therefore, when we talk about shaman, this means the one who knows. They are the one who are mediums, or the communicators, or the one who are specialists who are able to communicate directly to the transcendent world. That means the world after this world, okay, or rather the spiritual world, and to the world of the common people. Yeah, so shamans are the one who communicates with the spirits. Okay, so they are now dealing with the spiritual world. Hindi ito si Eugene ng Ghost Fighter, no? But one thing's for sure, shamans are very important also in the Japanese traditions and culture. So they do believe that they are assisted by an active spirit, being or group thereof. They may also have a passive guardian spirit, present in the form of animal or a person of another sex. Okay, so if you're familiar, I think that maybe we can somehow relatively associate the cartoon na Shaman King, no? Uh, si Amidamaru yung spiritual guide ni Yo Asakura doon, no? The one, yung bida ng anime na yon. So, that's the idea of shamans. They are the one who communicates from this normal people to the spiritual world. Okay? So the shaman is believed to be able to communicate directly with the spirits because of the trance state. That means that they are transcending their spirits, their souls to the other world. Okay? And this is accomplished by allowing their souls to leave the body to enter the spirit realm, or by acting as a mouthpiece for the spiritual being, somewhat like a medium. So sila yung tagapagitna, sila yung mga maaring yung kaluluwa nila ay pumapunta sa spiritual na mundo, o kaya naman yung mga nasa spiritual na mundo, sila yung maaring pumunta doon sa shaman at makipag-communicate sa tao. So it is the obligation of the shaman to know all the matters that human beings need to know in everyday life, but are unable to learn through their own capacities. So the shamans had these intuitions, and they are also foreseeing various events. No, they are good in forecasting, such as forecasting prospects for fishing and hunting, to assist in gain, to increase the gain, no, to support. No, he is also a healer and a psycho-pom, or the one who accompanies the dead to the otherworldly domain. So once the person dies, he started to communicate to the soul of the dead person and guide him towards to the next life. He fulfilled all these obligations by communicating directly with the spirits whenever he pleases. So that's the idea about shamanism. One thing out of this Shintoism and shaman practices in Japan came this idea or belief about the divine origin. That means the emperor of the Japan is the divine descent of the kami or the gods. Yeah. So again, they do believe that Amaterasu Omikami had its direct ancestor Jimmu Tenno as the first emperor of Japan during the Yamato period, and then from the succession of Jimmu Tenno and other emperors until today, no, Naruhito, and even those of during the World War II or during the Tokugawa era, they do believe that they came from the origin of Amaterasu Omikami, or from the kami or the gods. So the Japanese people thought that their emperor has the great power to rule. This means to say that the emperor is one of the primary movers, leaders of the Japanese people. So let's go now to Western Asia, and we'll try to discuss on Zoroastrianism. That means one of the world's oldest religion that talks about the struggles between good and evil. Zoroastrianism is one of the most popular religion in Persia, or which is modern day Iran. Okay, so Zoroastrianism. It was founded by Zarathustra, born in the southwestern part of Persia, and established the wisdom tradition of the Magi. So the Magi is a teacher, or if not, a Magi is a person full of wisdom. Okay? Now, what are the teachings and beliefs of Zoroastrianism? They do believe in dualism. That means there is a constant clash between good and evil. They are polytheistic, but this particular polytheistic belief points out that there's a duality among the human nature, the spirit of the human nature, or the human itself. There is a good and evil within himself. Okay? So they do believe that there is a supreme God known as Ahura Mazda. According to the teachings of Zoroastrianism, okay, humans have the freedom to decide and act. At very first, predominantly, man should act according to his will, according to his according to the situation, to the context, or to the scenario. Okay? Once the human practice an evil act, it strengthens the power of evil. And once the person or the human acted the good, I mean a good, once practice good, no, he strengthens goodness within him and to his community. According to this particular religion, all people will be judged on the book of life. So people who commit an equal number of good and evil deeds will instead go to purgatory and wait for a last judgment. They do believe also that the following elements are very important: land, fire, and water. They do consider these particular elements as holy, as part of their spirituality as well. So the dead bodies should be left in the designated places. So in the last judgment, your soul can be in land, fire, or water, or if not, your dead body should be left on based on designated places on how much evil, good or bad deeds you had created when you are living in this world. One of the important texts, in the or one of the Bible, so-called a holy scripture of Zoroastrianism, would include now the Avesta, or somehow popularly known as Zend Avesta. Judaism is pertaining to another oldest religion, found in Western Asia, developed in Western Asia. So one of the oldest monotheistic religion founded over 3,500 years ago in the Middle East. It is known to be as an Abrahamic religion. That means Judaism belief points out that recognize the patriarch of the human race, or part of the human race, would be Abraham. Now, Abraham is a very important religious figure, not just in Judaism, but also in Christianity and Islam. Now, in Christianity, Abraham was was known, if I'm not mistaken, he was the father of the nations. Abraham was father of the nations. So, correct me if I'm wrong, pagka nagkamali tayo doon. So, Abraham, as a religious figure, has also a large following of the ideas practiced in Judaism, Christianity, and even in Islam. He is also mentioned in Quran. So the Jews give the ideas to which have an impact on Christianity and in Islam. So the halakha is a collective religious law that includes now the biblical law, as well as the customs and the traditions found in the Old Testament. Okay, so these are religious laws, being practiced by the Jewish people, So since one of their main thrust would focus on the Old Testament, the teachings of the Old Testament. Halakha is a guide of day-to-day living for them. It came from the Hebrew word halak, which means going or way. So therefore, it's the way to go to practice their beliefs. There are very important two texts in Judaism. The first one is the Talmud, and the second one is the Torah. The Talmud is a comprehensive written version of the Jewish oral law and the subsequent commentaries on it. These are the oral laws that are being passed from one generation to another, that is being established as a law in following the various religious practices of the Jews. So the source code of halakha is the Talmud, and Talmud is also known as the Old Torah. Therefore, all of the oral laws that are being passed from one generation to another that pertains to the religious belief among the Jews are part of the so-called Talmud. The other one is Torah. That means this is known to be the first part of the Jewish Bible. It was being used as an important document by Judaism and the Jews throughout the ages. So they do believe in commandments such as the negative and positive commandments. These positive commandments, these are being commandments are being closer to God, and when you are practicing negative commandment, you're creating a distance to God. Hence, to be closer to God, one must try to live with an accordance to God and for what God wishes for humanity. Hence, this particular context of the commandment are now based on the some of the stories being emphasized in the Old Testament. A violation of commandment and law is already a sin for for Judaism. The Jewish people also emphasize that the man should worship God because he is a God and not because he dispenses favors. And God is indeed a God of all mankind. That's the one of the points of use of the Judaism, and they need to follow God because there is one God, and they need to oblige, they need to follow it because it is based on the moral law. That means the halakha, the Talmud, and even the Torah itself. The other one is Christianity, founded by Jesus Christ. Okay, it's originated in from Judaism practices. They do believe in God as the Father. It follows the Ten Commandments posed by Moses in the Old Testament. For Christianity, life is sacred and one should be charitable and just. Self must be cleansed of sins and to attain eternal salvation and happiness. So, according to its founder, Jesus Christ, no one has greater love than this or lay down one's life for one's friends. In other words, uh, what Jesus Christ would like to point out here in Christianity is about the emphasis of love, no? The love of God, the love of families, friends, at the same time being good at all times. The teachings of Jesus Christ are found in the so-called four Gospels, that is the Good News or the New Testament. This includes now the story in Luke, John, Matthew, and Luke, John, Matthew, okay, and what do you call this one? The other one, uh, nakalimutan ko, no? So we have Luke, John, Matthew, and just give me a minute to find the teaching. Okay, we have Luke, John, Matthew, and Mark. Yun, si Mark. Yan. There are two great commandments in Christianity, the love of God and an ethical kindness towards others. Next is Islam. That means a surrender to the will of God. In Islam, it's very important for us to understand that the Quran is the important text or the sacred text with 14 surahs or chapters. A sunnah is a primary source of Islamic jurisprudence, that means the law that is based on the Quran. Hadith are the literary narratives on the life of Muhammad, also found in Quran. So Islam is one of the youngest religion, emerged only during the height of the 600 AD, no? 600 AD. At the time that Europe has been crumbling. I mean, Christianity is being established in Europe. In the Middle East, no, Islam was established as one of the most powerful uh, force, no, or religion that binds the people of that region. Re- yeah, region. Each Muslim should observe the code of moral behavior. That means all the faithful will be blessed and with eternal life. That's the idea of Islam. It was established by Muhammad. The term Islam is submission of will to Allah. Allah is the God, It is a monotheistic religion rather, which considered the prophets of Abraham, Moses, and Jesus Christ. The term Muslim are the followers of Allah, or the one who surrenders himself to God. The Ummah is a Muslim community established to govern or to apply the teachings of Allah. Okay? The Hijrah in the story of Muhammad is it's the flight of Muhammad from Mecca to Medina. Yeah. So there are five pillars of Islam. First is the Shahada, that means a declaration of faith. The second one is the Salat or the Salah, prayer, that means 5 times a day. I recall when I went to Dubai somewhere in 2017, ano yan, 5 o'clock or if not 6 o'clock, mid-morning, tanghali, 12 o'clock, mid-afternoon, and gabi. Yun. So, they do pray 5 times a day. They do practice the psalm, no, or fasting. They they do give alms to the poor, or which is known as zakat. And the last of the being a Muslim is they need to at least once in their life go to a pilgrimage in Mecca or the Hajj. Okay, so this Islam created an empire, no, in the Caliphate. I think this is being discussed in the other video that I had posted also in your Google Classroom. So these are the duties of the caliphates. They are the leaders to guard the cities of Mecca, Medina, Jerusalem, and Hebron. Pilgrimage to Mecca, preserve the Sharia or the religious law, and protect and extend the frontiers of the Islamic Empire. But one thing's for sure, there are two divisions within Islam, the Sunni Islam and the Shiite Islam. The Sunni Islam focuses on the traditional teachings based from Muhammad. Okay, so it is based on tradition. Succession of leadership as well as the practices are still based on the teachings of Muhammad. The Shiites are the faction. These are the successions from the immediate family of Muhammad. That's why in the Islamic history, Islam branched out, no, based from the various successors of Muhammad. No, yung mga kamag-anak niya yung nagpalaganap ng Islam sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Middle East. Now, we need to look at also the Islamic religious calendar. First, we have the day of sacrifice known as the Idil Adha. Okay? In this particular day of sacrifice, the head of every Muslim household is expected to sacrifice and recall Abraham's sacrifice of ram in the place of his son. Yeah, that's Idil Adha. The other one is Idil Fitr or breaking the fast. This is observed after the Ramadan has ended. So it is a festival for 1 to 3 days. Muslim people visited the graves of their ancestors. So Idil Adha and Idil Fitr are very important in the Islamic calendar as well as the Ramadan. Okay, so I think that's it, no? Okay, so until then, thank you for listening and thank you for watching.